You need to take a look at this chart. Bitcoin just moved below one of the most important zones in history. Last time we moved below this zone was 2021 at the market cycle top, and we proceeded to see a 77% crash. The time before that we moved down from this zone was here in 2019, and we saw a 73% crash. The time before that was here in 2017 when we moved below this zone and we saw an 83% crash. The time before that was 76% crash in 2013, and the first time we ever did it was here in 2011 when we moved below this key zone and we saw a 93% crash. What does it mean for Bitcoin? Because we just moved below this key zone, we're going to uncover it right now. 99% are about to make a huge mistake when exiting altcoins and Bitcoin. One missed exit this cycle and your gains vanish. Get my new masterclass and exit altcoins and Bitcoin like a pro with zero doubt. To my students, I have never released this exit plan strategy before, and this will be the only time I do. Imagine waking up to a crash and feeling calm because you already exited like a pro. This limited seats pre-sale is going fast. Hurry, go now. CryptoCrewUniversity.com and save an extra $300 with crypto payment. Here we are on Bitcoin US dollar index, and today we're on the monthly chart. On the monthly chart, we have price action above and we have the stochastic RSI down below. Now, as you know, the stochastic RSI runs from a range of 0 up to a range of 100. As soon as we get above 75, we enter this golden zone here on the monthly chart. Inside of this golden zone is where Bitcoin sees almost all of its gains. However, as soon as we move below said zone, the gains are done and the huge crash starts. It's a pretty simple game. Take a look. 2011, as soon as we entered this zone, we were at the hottest level here. Next cycle, 2013, as soon as we entered this zone, it was October 2012, and we were at a price of $11, and we moved from $11 all the way up over $1,000, all while staying inside of this golden zone, the zone where Bitcoin sees all of its gains. And as soon as we leave this zone, it is a done deal. It's over. So here we are in the next cycle. We entered this golden zone back in November 2015 when we were at an astounding price of just $290. While we were in this golden zone, we moved from $290 and exploded all the way up to $20,000, all while in this golden zone of buying. When we exited this golden zone, we proceeded immediately to start our 83% crash as shown here. Now, when you look at higher time frames, you can see things become incredibly clear. This is so simple to understand. You do not need to know anything about charts. You can see when we get into this zone, the market gets hot. That's where we see all of our gains. And as soon as we get down from here, our momentum shifts. What I want you to know about the stochastic RSI, which is right here, is it's our momentum. Plain and simple. When our momentum is hot, price goes up. When we exit this hot momentum, we lose all of our momentum and we plummet to a gruesome bloodbath, and the whole cycle repeats. What I want you to do is just take a deep breath. I want you to draw this chart, and this will keep you more level-headed, because what you need to know is that these cycles simply repeat. There are times where the market is really hot and you still need to remain level-headed. There's times when the market is plummeting and you still need to remain level-headed. Being level-headed will save you a tremendous amount of money, and it will make you even more. What people typically do is they become too emotional, which leads them to make emotional decisions, which leads them to really annihilate their portfolio. Simply put, it's emotional decisions. I want you to stay more level-headed than everyone else. Now we go fast forward to our next cycle. The most recent cycle to what we have now, 2019, when we were here. You can see we got into this hot zone when Bitcoin was at maybe about 6,000, and we moved from 5 or 6,000 up to 14, but we exited. We gave a huge clue. It was early in the market, but we had exited. We needed to follow our rules. When we exited, this turned into a 73% crash. However, we re-entered that hot zone when we were at about $10,000 Bitcoin. We moved from about $10,000 Bitcoin up to $70,000 Bitcoin, all while being in the hot zone. And as soon as we exited this hot zone, it was lights out. This was our first top, this was our double top, and the rest was history. Here is the saving grace. Catch the top before it's gone. Get your exit plan at cryptocrewuniversity.com. What I want you to look at, as you can see, we recently exited this hot zone. That's not up for debate. This is not us trying to figure out, did we exit or not? We know what happens when we exit. We've got a lot of data. However, here is our saving grace. Take a look. There are two circles on our chart. This one right here and this one right here. 2 and 2 only. These are the only 2 times, and they have something huge in common that we're going to get to, and it's going to unlock the secret as to what is going to happen next. I'm about to tell you what is going to happen next and what to watch for, because maybe, just maybe, we could have one of these anomalies again, like we did in 2013, or one of these anomalies like we had in 2021, but it's going to take a huge clue and very specific details that are simple and easy to understand. Let's get into it. So what you can see is recently a move out of said zone, right? We got back into the hot zone in 2023. We got back into the hot zone when Bitcoin was at a mere $25,000 Bitcoin. And while in the hot zone, we moved from a $25,000 Bitcoin all the way up to $70,000 Bitcoin. However, there was a problem. From that $70,000 Bitcoin, we had moved out of the hot zone, albeit temporarily, maybe similar to the move here. Take a look at the structure. You can see a move into the hot zone, an explosion in price, move out of the hot zone, and then this was our last hurrah, which leads us to that circle. Could we be in a similar situation? More on that in a moment. But what you can see is that we moved out of the hot zone at 70, but it was a fake out. We had one final push back in the hot zone, and we moved quickly up past $100,000 Bitcoin, only for it to be very, very short and then a quick and swift move out of the hot zone. So what comes next? Is there a possibility that we have one of these green circles where we moved out of the hot zone, but it was kind of the one final push, the one last hurrah, the one final move for Bitcoin? That's what happened in 2013 when we moved out of the hot zone here and we had one final push to a brand new all-time high, a big pump in price, altcoins pumped, everything pumped. The market was on fire. Is it possible to have one of those? How about like we did in 2021, where we clearly moved out of the hot zone, and we moved out of the hot zone after the first top, and we had this little bottoming action, and we had this green circle here where we had a cross back up, and it only led to our double top. And once that double top happened, we plummeted in price, and that was the top of the market. So what is about to happen now, and what are the huge clues that could help us tremendously? Well, I'm going to break it down in the simplest possible way. Whether you're 5 years old or you're 105, you're about to understand what I'm going to say. Catch the top before it's gone. Get your exit plan at cryptocrewuniversity.com. The difference between knowing if there's one final push or that was it is really simple, and it's one line on the chart. Can you see the one line I'm looking at right now? It's one line that if we go below this line, that's it. It's done. We've never gone below this line and had one final push. like we did with this green circle here in 2013. We never did it and had this one final push like we did here in 2021. Do you see the one line I'm talking about? It's just one simple level on the stochastic RSI. Now keep in mind, the stochastic RSI is overbought, oversold, but more so our momentum. When our momentum crosses below a certain level, that means we've got no momentum left and it's a done deal. And that's this white line on the chart right here. When you pull up the stochastic RSI, you put a white line at about 18. And if our stochastic RSI goes below 18, it's a done deal. We've never gone below 18 and had any final push. In fact, in 2011, when we went below here, it was near the bottom of the market. When we went below that level here back in 2014, it was the whole time of having no momentum and just simply an absolute plummet in price. There was no saving Bitcoin. Same thing in 2018 when we had the blue and the orange line, the fast and the slow line move below 18. There was no saving Bitcoin. Look at it. We had already topped. It was just a couple candles later. We moved below here and that was all she wrote. The writing was on the wall. There was no saving Bitcoin because we had the fast and the slow line below, meaning we had no more momentum. How about 2021? As soon as we went below 18 here, it was it. The thing is, 18 is the key. So what does that mean for Bitcoin right now? Well, at the end of this month, we're going to have a close in this chart right here. And on the last day of the month at 11:59 p.m. UTC time, we're about to find out the truth. Because at that time, if you see the fast line and the slow line is the orange line. If you see that slow line close below 18, we're in trouble because we've never had a time in history where we've closed below 18 and there was any final push. It's never happened before, and that's our clue. What do you think is going to happen? Is Bitcoin going to close above 18 and somehow save the day and have one final push, or is the nail already in the coffin? One missed exit this cycle and your gains vanish. If you ever watched your portfolio go up and you didn't know when to exit altcoins or Bitcoin, this new exit plan masterclass is for you. To my students, I have never released this exit plan strategy before, and this will be the only time I do. You will walk away with exactly when to exit altcoins and Bitcoin with total clarity and 0 second guessing. This is a pre-sale and early bird seats are now open, but very limited. Imagine waking up to a crash and feeling calm because you already exited like a pro. Go now, CryptoCrewUniversity.com, and save an extra $300 off with crypto payment. Click the red button now to lock in your seats